Many companies, maybe most, never crack the code to gain predictable and reliable revenue for their companies. Everybody wants to do this, but almost nobody figures out how. The key to revenue, which seems kind of obvious, is to get more revenue from your existing leads and get more leads that can turn into that revenue. And of course, converting out those leads from just a straight lead to somebody who says, let's do it. The question is how? Well, for starters, leads come in three different fashions. Some are hot, usually about 10%. They want to buy and buy now. Roughly 40% are not now or tell me more, but I can't buy just yet leads. And then the other 50% are typically cold leads that are a waste of time. Almost every organization out there that we ever talk to is missing converting those 40%. In fact, their salespeople just won't follow up on those because they take too much work to get revenue. So to get more from existing lead flow, deal with the not right now clients. The part that has to happen to deal with those not right now clients is to have your lead nurture mimic the sales conversation of your ideal sales rep. That is very easy to say and very hard to do. In fact, your nurture system can do a better job in many ways than your ideal sales rep of taking people through the buying process to where they are truly ready to buy. In the old world, salespeople did everything. They generated awareness, they helped facilitate information gathering, evaluation, and took it on to selection and transaction. But today, it's a very different world. In fact, people don't want to talk to a salesperson until they've done most, and probably in many cases all of their research. The Serious Decisions buying cycle gives you a good view of what they're doing, from status quo, where they're not quite sure they have a problem, to committing to change, where they know they've got one that they need to fix, exploring options, how do I fix my problem, committing to a solution, who do I choose, justifying the decision, and then finally making the decision. In the old world, the salesperson got involved just after the person decided that they had to fix their problem, and then they had to work them through exploring options, committing to a solution, justifying the decision, and so on. Today, though, they don't want to do that. They want marketing to feed that information through a marketing automation system or from your website to facilitate their trip through that buying process and give them all the information they need to build a case, confirm fit, and so on with you as a company. Then they're ready to talk to a salesperson, and that's a fairly quick and decisive close. The other part of getting your revenue up and doing so sustainably is getting more volume of quality leads. And really, the key here, surprisingly, is content. Getting the right content means that you have content for everybody in the buying process and every stage in the buying process, and that you move that content up to the front in your messages that you're putting out to people who you believe are in status quo or in committing to change. That's typically 1 to 5% of any active market. But that content is what wakes people up, answers the question they have in the back of their mind or in the top of their mind, and gets them to engage in the buying process with you. You offer them that content, and it helps them build their kit of information they need to make a safe and defensible decision for you. A big part of the problem, though, is with that content is people are putting out things that aren't really what people are interested in. They're speaking, but no one's hearing because they're not hearing a what's in it for me. The big question is, how do I make that information truly relevant, unique, and if we can combine those two, awesome. It's a clear goal that we want, but how? Well, what we've learned is these 7 pieces are the key, and they're much harder to do than you might think. First, we want to have an ideal client description that's backed up by the data and by the input from both sales and marketing. Use cases for exactly how each product is used by which customers, the roles of the different players that are involved in the decision-making unit for what you sell, excellent voice of customer research that gets at how people want to buy, what their sticking points are in information, what kind of education they need, and so on. a solid lead definition, that what a lead needs to look like prior to being turned over to sales, so sales has a high probability chance of closing them, what the value proposition to the client is for that particular product in that use case, and then the nurture that follows the buying process that mimics what the best salesperson would do. That leads to a sales-ready lead that can close far more often than any other lead and will produce predictable and reliable revenue. What other benefits are there from this process? Well, one thing, more revenue per salesperson. When your salespeople only deal with sales-ready leads, each salesperson can produce dramatically more revenue. Also, we find that typically leads that are the result of this process are 50% faster to close than leads generated any other way. Further, it dramatically reduces pricing pressure because they've built a case for you, they see your unique fit. It also drops customer acquisition costs and enhances lifetime value. Again, because the case is so clear and you've answered so many of their questions, they perceive switching costs to be much higher. And finally, the other benefit is that this system, once going, produces reliable and predictable revenue for years on end. There are two ways to get this done. Either we do it for you or we help you do it. Either way, you're going to learn new things about how you can stay in control of your marketing and the revenue that marketing can generate for you that you've probably never clearly known in the past. All of the processes, and there are 22 steps, are documented in recipe format and educational tools. First, we deal with product selection, then use case identification, build a business case to make sure it's worthwhile, do role and persona mapping, buying process research, get the sales and marketing alignment component done, build a value proposition, build a nurture plan, build a demand plan, lead scoring, progressive profiling, and then we take a breather and get management buy-off on everything that we've learned and plan to do. From there, we build out the marketing automation logic, load the marketing automation system, define the metrics, build the content, build the lead generation messages, build the nurture messages, build the landing pages, validate and test the system, and start producing leads and nurturing leads. And then a huge piece is we optimize it so that it truly is producing its full potential. How long does this take? Well, when we do it, 6 to 9 months, depending on the level of scrutiny for your particular product or service. If you do it, typically it's going to be 9 to 12 months for you to do it because you'll be new to it. Are there any shortcuts from all 22 of those steps? Well, not really. We've tried, but it always comes back to haunt us. So at this point, we believe you really have to go through each step in just the way that we've outlined in order to get the full result and the full benefit. So how much does it cost? Well, the variables that drive cost are data, scrutiny, the different use cases, and the volume of content necessary for those use cases and scrutiny level. The ROI, though, is typically at least 20x on a profit basis to 2000x. And that ROI, to one degree or another, has happened in every campaign that we've done in the fashion that we've described. The other thing that is important here is that we stay with you until the system is producing the end result. And that's whatever partner you might use. You want to make sure that, though this is a long and winding road at times with a lot of ways to fall off the cliff, you want a partner that will stay with you until the system is producing the expected results to make your business case. The cost is typically $80,000 to $250,000, but there's a 3 to 9 month payback on the investment, and after that, you're printing money. Are you a potential fit? Well, if you've got your product costs $20,000 and up, or you are willing to adopt a marketing automation system and a CRM package like Salesforce.com or Microsoft Dynamics, your product is competitive, your product is profitable, you have at least 500 targets in your target universe, and there are 2 or more decision makers in the decision making unit for this product. Are there alternatives to the way I've laid this out today? Well, we don't really know of any. We'd love to hear about some. There are a lot of silver bullets out there. There are people that do bits and pieces of this, but to the best of our knowledge, no one brings it all together the way we do, and nobody, more importantly, brings together the level of results, the predictability, or the reliability of the revenue that comes out of this model. Well, if you're interested in this, you've tried the other things, you're a burn victim of the partial solution to this problem, and you're ready for the complete solution to this problem, then talk to us.